Then sorry, I just missed that
Oh
whole,
no,
initial bit, but we'll cover the content.
it's
So
okay.
it sounds like to me that you just have like your textbook like over trading issue, as well as like this issue where you go on these like win streaks, and then you want to keep the win streak alive, basically. And so you do whatever it takes to try and make that happen, and sometimes whatever it takes involves spawning accounts. Does that
Yes.
sound accurate?
Yeah. I've had 9 or 10 express fundeds at this point.
Okay.
Um, I've taken 3 payouts. My first one was in the summer, and that was just luck, and it was only like $450.
Mm-hmm.
And then I immediately blew the account after that. Um, and then the past 2 weeks, I've had about $1,100 payouts, and that was, I mean, I'm proud of that. That was consistency. That was $200 days, usually one and done. There's a few days in my calendar where it says I made $200, but I took maybe 37 trades, and I don't like that.
For sure.
Although Top Step count trades, you end up with a higher trade count because if you go in with 3 micros and then you go out, then it's considered 3 trades or 6 trades. I don't really know,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So to me, it sounds like, do you trade with a trade plan or like a roadmap every single time you enter a trade?
Um,
Like
how do you mean?
like when I go on PM stream, I outline exactly what I'd be looking for in order for a trade.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like before this news release, I was looking at a 15-minute BISI, and generally I was kind of bearish on the day and I was waiting for more data. I usually do a pre-market analysis for sure, and because I'm on vacation right now, I'm actually in New York time, but usually in the UK it's not until 2:30 that the market opens at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
So I get plenty of time to do a pre-market analysis. Um so I do tend to do that, yeah.
And how often do you stick to that trade plan?
Hmm. I mean, recently, most days. Yesterday PM stream. I actually had a bearish bias, and I don't think I would have been able to trade that myself without your stream because I didn't expect, you know, um, anything bullish. Just
Yeah.
because I was looking at those lows on the 15 minute. I looked back, I can see why. But usually, if I go against it, that involves fear, which can lead to tilt.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Um,
the big
yeah,
thing that really helps me with being picky with my trades and not over trading is following that roadmap to a T and only pivoting when there's like a light bulb setup that I just can't avoid, right? For
yeah,
me, I'm more than willing to miss trades. I'll miss A plus setups if it's not exactly what I need because I know that that's building like good habits, and those good habits are going to prevent me from doing stupid things. The rules that we have in place aren't to make us profitable; they're to keep our emotions in check. And you
yeah,
mentioned like a key like factor there, which is fear. And I mentioned it in PM stream before, but fear is like the worst emotion to have when making any decision in life ever. Fear is like almost like our animal response to like threats, right? It's that fight or flight. And whenever we experience that emotion, we're forced into picking two options. In this case, it's either buy or sell, but in the real world, it's fight or flight. And there's so many more options and so many responses to fear. And so a lot of the time, I'm guessing this like desire or need to continue to trade and continue to be green and continue to keep the streak alive almost comes from like you need this to succeed. Like you need like trading to work. Obviously, like I'm. I guess tell me a little bit more about your life outside of trading.
oh, yeah. I mean, I don't come from a background of. I come from a pretty bad background, and I went to. I have a affluent grandfather, he's who I'm staying with at the moment. But
Mm-hmm.
besides that, I grew up, welfare and everything,
Sure.
and my academics weren't so great. Um, I was one of those kids. They say you're smart, but you don't apply yourself. This and that. Um, and I went to university, which was paid for by my grandfather, and COVID and a bad relationship led to me just dropping out. And that was in about 2022. I lost. I had this deep desire to make money and to prove myself, so I lost about. I think it was like £7,000 in crypto, and
Wow.
I don't care about that now. That was years ago, but ever since then, you know, I went on to futures trading, and then I found ICT, and then I came to Top Step, and um, most of 2023 was sort of studying that. 2024, sorry. I made a lot of progress, and here I am. But that stuff used to drive me for a while. This desire to prove myself, this desire to make money. Now, not so much because I've had a taste of like the calm state you can be in if you simply just follow your rules and take, you know, just small wins, $200, one and done. You made some money, you're proud. You're not excited, you're proud. Like there's a difference between
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited because I just made 2,000 gambling and I'm proud and I can really see this working out in the future because I just made 200 following my rules.
Cool. Okay, so it doesn't really sound like you have the like typical thing. Like sometimes people come to these one-on-ones and they mention that they have a mortgage or something that they're trying to
No,
support, and
no,
they've dropped out of their career for this, or they're struggling to make ends meet or whatever. So it doesn't really sound like this is coming from a place
no,
of
not at all.
desperation
Like,
necessarily.
no,
It just sounds
I'm
like
a
a
single
personal desire.
man. Yeah, exactly. I'm a single man and I earn enough at a job back home to pay my rent, pay for food and you know the rest. And it's not a job that I hate, you know, and I'm just trying to make this work. So I consider myself kind of like a student. I live like a student. I try and get this done. And I would like to be profitable this year, but I'm not. You know, I've been profitable for a couple of weeks, but I don't want to jump the gun. And but yeah, no, it's not so difficult in the sense of because if it was like if I were you and someone said that to me, I'd say, well, you need to try and fix these things with a stable income like a job because you won't be able to. It's like if I quit my job now, my trade, I'll blow accounts because I'll be trying to live off of this money. And it
Hmm.
would drive me mad.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't be necessarily the advice I would give to somebody else. I would just say that they either have to, you know, figure out the root cause of this like desperation, or um, and try and address it, or remove emotion entirely from trading, right? And I feel like that's kind of towards the path that I'm going to give you towards trading. Um, you need to like find ways to remove it altogether, and there's like a lot of ways that you can go about doing that. Obviously, you have like just your typical things like you know therapy or going for a walk or the habits that you make throughout your day outside of trading. And then obviously on the charts, you've said it best yourself. You need to take your $200 and like step away, because the longer that you're sitting here on the charts, trying to analyze, trying to do whatever, it's just a continued temptation to like make something happen. Also, this looks pretty good.
Yeah, I was looking at
Equal highs
this stuff
above,
that
1 minute
came up.
inverse, reacting off
Yeah,
50%.
what's the I take the same 200 risk as you. What's the stop on this? 51 to would you say
It's about
32?
15 points. So this would be about 7 for $200 risk. So yeah, like 7 micros. And then,
I tend to just go a bit lower than my. This is another thing. Just at the moment, I tend to if it's 7, I might do 5 or 4
yeah,
sort
I
of
do the
thing.
same.
Okay, okay. Well, then I'm not in a rush to change that. So would you enter
Close to the
here?
tick. Close to the tick. So no inverse.
Oh well, get rid of that. That's okay. That didn't do anything. Give me. Oh, you know what? I can't leave because of. Don't worry, it's fine. But yeah, good stuff we were talking about. I've learned the model since being with you guys. You know, this is the thing. Is like something has clicked in the last 2 months, and that's having an entry model with
Mm-hmm.
with a set risk. It's just there is I've had so many techniques and models for finding the draw, like you know the opening range, the regular trading hours gap, whatever, or tilt silver bullet, or just equal highs, equal lows. But trying to find the fair value gap or choosing if you're going to get in on this breaker or whatever, and I can see all of that stuff, but to actually frame it all for an entry, it's just too much, and it too many moving parts, and it makes me, and I can't frame. There we go. There's an entry, right?
Yeah, so there's like the close above.
I'll
Um,
go in with 4. What about you?
I'm going in with like 3, honestly, because I don't
Right.
like how we stalled before the close, so I'm just
It was slow.
risking
It
less.
was slow. I'm also going to take into account like my attention is kind of on our conversation right
For
now.
sure. I also think that
So
this
where's
could
your
be like
start?
against the draw, but I like the equal highs
Mhm.
above. So if this just fails, it is what it is. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
too upset about it. I think it should work, but like, sometimes these equal highs don't necessarily pay. But I like how we reacted off of 50. I like that we took the low. I like that we had good displacement back up. I like there was a singular gap. Like this meets my model. So
Okay. I'm
I'm
gonna
not going to be
have
mad after taking a loss on this if it were
no,
to
no,
happen.
no, no. Exactly. That's another thing that I've felt recently because you don't have to blame yourself. This is driving me mad though. I need to find time to grab this adapter. I'm on 7%. It's okay. It won't affect our if like our call. I'll just go onto my phone, but
No,
I'm
yeah,
not.
no. Take your time. Like if you need to go, that's no big deal. I
It's
won't let
because
it
I'm
affect
in a
our time.
trade right now. I want to make sure I if it closes, then I can manually stop.
Yeah,
But yeah, in these situations, like it might be useful for me to tell you how I feel. Like, I've been doing pretty well, so I've known that a lost day is going to come, and that doesn't matter. But what's important is because I haven't had one in the entire past 2 weeks. Um, it's important to one make sure it's contained.
mm-hmm.
Um, but also like how am I going to respond to that and how am I going to feel because I know it's going to come and I'm just happy that I've made so many wins and then I just trying to avoid a loss then I'm going to go on tilt the moment I take that loss so I've been trying to just be prepared but not anticipate it to the point where you manifest it. I have a friend that does that. He'll be on a winning streak for so long and he'll say I feel like a loss is coming and then he'll blow an account.
Sure.
um
Yeah, so
so
maybe
yeah,
this will be an opportunity here where we can test that theory, right?
Yeah.
This
I
might be
usually
good.
have a hard liquidate and block thing, but I mean that's to avoid tilt, and I'm just I'm not gonna be really the whole. I've paid you for this session for my education. I'm not gonna be just pressing buttons.
For sure.
Um, but any other time I would have a hard liquidate and block, which would basically give me one full stop. And then, but also because I've got both accounts, they're both in a good balance at the moment, so we're not at any risk. But because I've got both accounts in this trade, um, you know, I was also wondering maybe it would be worth buying a eval just for this session, but I'm not really bothered because I don't really need a third account. So, but it's nice for the quarantine, like you say. I like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah, so with those like extra accounts, those are your like, accounts that you go and do what you want on. You don't use funded accounts for that. So in your case, you mentioned that you sometimes take like demo trades on that funded, and I feel like that would be a good opportunity for you until you can,
Yeah.
start building better habits. And then the other thing you asked me a question about, how do you okay, so don't love that momentum down. There's only 10 seconds till the candle close, so if it does go lower here, like I'm not too worried about it. But if it
It's
opens the next candle and it's like close, like that could be a problem for us. But looks like it did close below, or maybe it closed the tick.
no, it didn't. It didn't. Well, I'm on MNQ. What about yourself?
Oh yeah, no, it closed below. Okay, so I'm
Should
out
I get
there.
out? All
Yeah,
right.
so it
All
looks
right.
like
Well,
that failed.
I'm gonna go find this charger.
All right, sounds good.
By the way, it's right at the last night's. I know you
Sure.
said to show you, but that fair value gap from midnight. I don't know a lot about it. I just watched one lecture. It's just I draw end dogs and stuff on my chart,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just another thing that's on my chart. It's just kind of like I'd make my own indicator, I guess.
Okay.
But I'll be back in a second.
All right, sounds good.
This isn't ideal, but just give me a moment.
No, yeah, take your time.
I do have a spare. My grandfather has a spare laptop that I could just use with a US adapter, well, US cable. Seems like nothing's happened yet. I'm gonna send you a screenshot of this so you can see what I mean. I've got the midnight on my chart.
Here you go. Give us it back when you finish.
All right, because I do have Malcolm's. Yeah, little insight, a little bit of whatever. It's my I'm staying with my grandfather and his brother, and his brother's wife, and she's on the adapter, and she's just making a scene because it's the way she is. Yeah.
So Dodgy took that loss too.
Oh yeah. It jumped out at me as well, so
Yeah, he took that on live. That's crazy. I haven't seen him take a loss on live in forever, so it looks like it was a good trade. It's just, it is what it is. Sometimes we take losses. Our win rate's only 70%. That means 3 out of 10 trades fail. That was one of the 3. It's unlucky that it happened in our one-on-one, but hey, you know what the good news is? At least we don't have Dodgy in his Discord, saying, if you took this, you're an idiot, right? We took a good trade. He took it. It is what it is. So, yeah, I guess one more thing that kind of goes back to the whole like over trading and revenge trading type idea is like a quote from this book that I just read, right? It says, it's foolish to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need, right? And so whenever we're sitting here and we take a loss and then we want to revenge trade and take another trade and try and win, do you really need to take that trade on that day? Or is that more of like a want to get green?
Yeah, it's just a want. Like, I'm trying to find the difference between I just want to feel good, I want dopamine, and I'm trying to make my business work,
Yeah. And so what you do
because it
need...
feels amazing when you're in a win.
Of course. What you do need, though, is that drawdown. And what you do need is to keep those accounts alive. And so when you're risking what you need for what you don't need, that's when you call into question, like, what's even the point of taking this trade, right? What's even the point of revenge trading? I can come back another day and I can, be profitable and take another trade and watch a losing setup that lost by a single candle end up, being a break-even trade or potentially a winning trade here. So there's always going to be like another setup and it'll be on a different day. And the problem with taking a loss is most of the time that loss will expunge your mental capital. And the only way you can get more mental capital is by walking away and taking a step back. The good news is most of the time, if you're sitting with somebody and you take a loss collectively, like, you're not going to sit there in the background and like try and revenge trade and get it back and watch price pump up here and just, do everything that you expected. You're going to just, sit there and talk about it and watch the trade work out, and that's going to be that. So like, now that it's both you and I in this call, we have like a combined mental capital, which is nice, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we can keep trading. But in a solo setting, I honestly recommend, like what Dodgy did, get off your account, because a loss is always going to burn your mental capital. It's like getting a flat tire, right? We always use the driving analogies in PM. It's like getting a flat tire. You just got to, take a step back, pull off the road, fix it, and then, continue on from there. So like after that, I would say, just be done for the day and walk away. And like that sucks, but that's going to be, 20 to 30% of your days, so you kind of have to get used to it.
No, but it's better because you are very likely to recover the next day. The next day you trade.
You're very likely to recover from a flat tire by fixing it and moving on. You're not very likely to fix a totaled car.
Yeah. So I was looking at it. I sent it to you.
Okay.
I didn't re-enter or anything just because I've paid for this session. We're here to learn discipline. But sure. I don't know if you saw that little pink box. That's the sort of displacement fair value gap from midnight if you're interested.
Okay.
I think it just kind of frames like standard deviations for the day, you know, how the day is measured.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if you've heard about. I know ICT does just come out with stuff. That is true. I think he's just a terrible teacher and he's obsessive and he tries his best to like teach it in a whole new way.
Yeah.
But so he came out with the first fair value gap after 9:30,
Mm-hmm.
which is something you might have heard people talk about.
I've heard
and
about
it's
that
just
before.
the same. Yeah, yeah, and so you kind of use the last three of them. If you're meticulous, you'll draw them on your chart. And like so, for instance, this news release, the candle basically shot right up to consequent encouragement of December 10th's 9:30 first fair value gap. I've got it here on my chart.
Okay.
Now, it's not like a model or anything because I wouldn't have known that. It's just you see what levels price goes to and reacts to and stuff. It's just something on my chart.
Okay. So wait, December 10th, like a month ago?
Yeah, sorry, I would have written December 10th. I mean January 10th. I
January
do
10th.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to change it now. It's not a month ago. I used the last three. So yeah, Jan 10th. So, last Friday.
Okay.
I mean, I'll show you.
Now I'm looking. All right, I see the first fair value gap, but let's see if I can see the vision now. I mean, for me, like, why is this day in particular important versus yesterday's?
I don't know.
9:30?
That's the thing, you know. I just find it interesting. Um,
Like, what does this tell you about liquidity? Like, what is the reasoning behind this?
Honestly, I don't know that aspect. That's why I don't just sort of use it to trade. It's just I saw, you know, I just saw that's where it went to when the PPI came out.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
Like
the thing with
I
PD
was
arrays
just
for me is, like, I only like to use stuff that like makes sense to me, and like I can reason as like being like tied to liquidity in some way. And for me, like I don't understand how this would be tied to liquidity. Maybe if like somebody explained and like kind of showed like how this could be tied to liquidity. But for me, like the biggest thing in the market that I pay attention to is liquidity. And so if there's no reasoning that ties the PD array I'm looking at to liquidity, then for me it's like, okay, well, how do I use this? But I
yeah,
guess,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
say what you were gonna say.
Oh, I can't remember. It wasn't fun. It wasn't
Oh,
important. I mean, I
okay.
think I was saying something like I don't use it for a model because I don't know how it's tied to liquidity. The most I've kind of thought about is something to do with obviously 9:30 open. The first imbalance is going to be some sort of something to do with spread. It's like thin. And so the algorithm maybe refers back to the, but again, it's not. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, you know, my strongest thing is just knowing where 15-minute, 5-minute liquidity is,
Mm-hmm.
equal highs, equal lows. Um, you know, I would focus on that more. I don't. I just kind of have these levels on my chart.
For sure.
Um, yeah, and it can be kind of messy, but I'm only on a laptop at the moment. Usually I've got multiple screens, and this is just my top step screen is just for executions. But it looks like we got stopped, and it kept going.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate. I don't think this is
No,
very good price action anymore because we're creating candles with bigger wicks than bodies, and
yeah,
I think it could get good. Like at 9:30, we might see like some nice bullish reaction, but like while we're just chopping in this range, like I'm not sure how good price is gonna be. I don't really love that price came down, disrespected a bearish PD array, didn't hit the next internal high, the next point of liquidity, came back down, delivered off of nothing, and then sent higher. Like to me, that's not a good teller of price action. So we'll just have to see how the rest of the morning goes. But I wish I would have known that prior to taking the trade because before taking the trade, we had V-shaped setups. Price was respecting 30 seconds, and we were respecting liquidity. We came down, we swept the low. Like this is A+, and it's just unfortunate that
oh, it's okay. I was thinking as well. One thing when I first joined the Discord, I didn't like the break-even rules.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't. I follow them now, but I did not like them because, well, one. So when I first heard you guys say, "Oh, we go to break even," what I would do is go to the high or the low of the fair value gap, like an
Mm-hmm.
algorithmic break even. So I'd take a few losses, and I asked you once on stream, and you said, it's your break even where you entered, and I thought I don't like that because it's not. That's got nothing to do with. Do you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
algorithmic, or it's got nothing to do with price action or whatever. I've been doing it because it's about win rate, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a thought, like, a lot of the time, say you got like this setup here, so sell side imbalance inversion upwards. A lot of the time, just above that, if the candle closes above, you'll have like a bullish breaker.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, that being something as a part of your, like, well, for me it makes it seem a bit more A plus to me,
Like including
because if
other
it's,
confluences.
yeah, like if it's an A plus setup but also at the top it's got that formation where if it were to close above, that forms a bullish breaker on top of the inversion, like I think that's really, really good.
Yeah. We do that with order blocks a lot of the time is the big one. So if we
Yeah,
form
yeah,
like let's say like we got this candle, okay, and this was before the close, and then price came up and closed above that. That to me would be like A plus plus, like
yeah,
getting that order block. So yeah, the idea with the breaker is kind of the same. It's always good to have extra confluences on a trade whenever you're entering. Um, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, talking about the whole break even thing. So the break even has to do with win rate, but it also has to do with like once again going back to rules that form your psychology, and um, that's like one of those things, right? It prevents you from holding losses longer than um, you should, and keeping your losses low and your wins high, right? That's basically the idea. So having something in place to kind of provide that stop for you to prevent it from getting worse than it could. Um, that's the purpose of like a break even, right? And
yeah,
so a lot of those trades that come back break even, most of the time that's a sign that like price isn't where you want it to be at in the trade that you're currently in, because a trade that's considered good and it's a good IFEG trade will just run, and it will just continue to take out next point of liquidity after next point of liquidity, and oftentimes it won't come back unless we've left an unfilled PD array behind, like we did yesterday with that 5 minute. And most of the time, I'll notice that, and I'll kind of leave it up to your discretion of whether or not to go to break even or not. But those are like the only times, is if we leave equal lows behind, or if we leave some form of unfilled inefficiency. And outside of that, like the break even really is there to protect you against either bad price action or a trade that shouldn't come back in the first place that'll ultimately lead to a loss. That's the way at least I like to look at it.
yeah, it's good to follow, and it's just more discipline, really. I'm supposed to go to break even. I'm not going to think about what if I get stopped and it doesn't protect me. It is annoying. I'm sure you experience it all the time. You say, will the break even save us? If it doesn't, but it's definitely a trade-off. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was your bias for the day? Like, I was thinking, I've been bearish mainly just because I mean the daily has gone up into a Sibi and then is going lower, but I'm looking at 15 minute. It's just those lows on the 15 minute, and I was targeting a daily low from sometime in November that we got really close to yesterday, and then
Mm-hmm.
just continued higher. And with the whole, if you've got I don't know what to expect this week because it's full of news. But if it were to be a classic expansion down, then Monday to Tuesday will make the high of the week, and then it'll continue lower. And so Monday being what it was, kind of, you see that low?
The slow?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
sometimes we
so
leave those behind. Like we leave them behind
yeah,
all the time, and that's my issue with targeting like sell side. Is like we will leave stuff behind. We won't run complete liquidity. We won't do any of that. The big thing for me that's convincing me I'm bullish versus bearish is, of course, we have the daily Sibi, right? Like that's something to take note of. But that's going to be a reaction on the daily time frame, not so much on the lower time frame. What I'm looking at is this reaction of the 4 hour BPR here. and seeing, okay, we've just tapped into the 4 hour, putting this massive wick up. This looks
Hmm.
undeniably bullish.
Oh, I've shifted now. Yeah.
we've pumped 140 points, and we gapped up
Yeah.
overnight, and we've respected that like gap. Now, I would have anticipated price to come down and sweep this low in the gap because usually, like when we leave something like this, it's going to be hit multiple times. But now that we've tapped into it, we've gotten the reaction of the 4 hour. Now I'm just waiting to see like what price does once we hit this high here, right? Because these kind of look like relative equal highs a little bit, right? Looks
Let me
starting
see
to look
on my
like a
chart.
engineered liquidity a little bit. So maybe once we sweep this high at 21,143, that's when we can start to look short. Or, if we sweep 21,197, so that's the internal high inside of a fair value gap. That was the two things that stuck out to me. The other thing, obviously, was the data wick. But when we're like 200 points away from a data wick, or even like 100, I don't really care about it that much unless we see a lot of momentum towards it. We do have open here in about a minute, or sorry, 8 seconds. So I guess we'll see that reaction to open. And if we start to accelerate down with a lot of momentum, then obviously I'll start looking at the data wick as like a potential draw. And then
Yeah,
after
no,
that, it'll
those
be,
equalizer did
oh, yeah, 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 these ones.
the ones you pointed out from overnight. Yeah, I tend to look for to the right. They get slightly lower.
Hmm.
Equal or lower, because if you have one that's like ticked above, then that could have swept liquidity.
Yeah.
I still look at some that have ticked above, but it's better for me if they're that like these two lows here that we formed before the A plus, like they're really good. I'm not targeting them. I'm just saying that's kind of like an example in my
Sure.
eyes. I always sort of like that formation, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything yet. But yeah, before the news release, I was bearish for the day. Now it's kind of like you said with the 4 hour, my bias kind of shifts. I kind of want some more information, so we'll see.
Yeah, like price will usually clean up by 9:50. So if you just have the patience to wait for that, you'll probably get another setup. That's why like forcing a trade in the first 30 minutes of trading sometimes kind of sucks. But when you get something like this is too A plus to ignore. So like you just got to take it, and if it's a loss, it's a loss.
Yeah, yeah, I see.
I feel bad though, right? Like the goal was always to like get the
Uh,
session paid
okay.
for, and now it's like well now we're in
It's
the hole.
okay.
So
We're gonna have another setup, and I'm on the streams with you. It's okay. That would have. I don't tend to take 5 minutes. I kind of hate 5 minutes. They're too big. But that would have been a good 5 minute, don't you think? Before it was invalid.
oh not necessarily because what do I need for a trade? Oh, actually, never mind. I lied. Yeah, it would have been all right.
Okay.
I forgot that we
But
were
it's
delivering from the
invalid.
one
So,
minute. But yeah, yeah, like you said, it is invalid.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have a bullish SMT
But
here now?
oh yeah. Let me see. Oh yeah. Clear gap on 2 minute potentially if this forms.
Yeah. I kind
Looks
of hope
quite
it doesn't.
large.
I'd rather just take the
Yeah.
1 minute.
The 1 minute.
Yeah, that we'd already
Hmm.
formed at 9:30.
Oh yeah, that one there. I mean, yeah. Okay. I do the whole try and find the clearest one, but like so this is
What
like a mistake on my end because I would look at that and think it's there's too many candles, so maybe I'm doing something wrong.
for me the 2 minute would have just had too big of a stop. I like the 1 minute
Yeah.
because what? Wait. You said it has too many candles. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, no, there's only one gap, isn't there?
Yeah, it's singular. So this 2 minute now is
Yeah.
better. Well, that we're in the process of forming. I guess we got 45 seconds. I guess we'll see.
I will say, I do find the streams with you a lot easier to follow than the streams with Dodgy. But like you said, it's because he takes more setups.
Yeah.
Um, you're both great. but sometimes, you know, I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes he'll just say something, and or when he joins your streams, and who took that, and you're like, took what?
Yeah, no, I get that. Um,
So this looks good, right? The 1 minute or the 2 minute?
Probably
The
the
1 minute.
1 minute at
Yeah.
this point.
Would you take this?
Yeah, for sure. It's got
So
everything.
70 down to where would you put your stop?
The inception gap, so it's about 19 points if we get a good close, and then target the high for 1-to-1. And then you take about 40% off there, and then target the next high, which would be about 50 points away. Now the only problem is, like, obviously, I don't know how long price is gonna take to close. And so, I mean, obviously we have 20 seconds before the candle close, but it could just run all the way up here and we not be able to get an entry. But I'm hoping that's not the case. So
how many contracts? I was thinking 3.
this I feel is like almost guaranteed. So I'm gonna try 4 here. I feel, but
Okay.
like I just don't see how this fails. Like if this fails, we're just done for the day. Like so there's the close.
And you go to break even at that
Yeah, this
internal
high.
there. Uh-huh. No problem.
If this fails, William, you just got it on the most unlucky session ever. I got
I
nothing to say.
specifically chose this session because of the news and it being a Tuesday. So
Yeah.
where is your stop? You said 19 points. The inception
Well,
gap.
now
So
it's a little higher than that. So there's the break even on that, I guess.
oh, okay.
We're probably gonna get
I-
yeah.
I just got
course.
break even. What about you?
Yeah, I got break even too, and it's gonna work now.
And then this is that problem where it's like I really want to press the button right now.
Yeah. I get that. For me, I'm just I got knocked out of the trade. It is what it is.
I was looking at the high at 928 to go break even.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess it's
fine.
that final high. Yeah.
I just think like
Well-
we can get a better entry now. Like if you wanted
Yeah.
to take like a 2022, you could. If you really have
Well, it's
conviction of
not
this
on-
high hitting, I just don't really have conviction in this high hitting. It's not equal highs. So that's why, like, I think that like, this could miss. We could get an SMT with ES and then, send it down, and I don't even get to take profit, and I just get knocked out here. If it comes back down like a second or third time here and hits my entry point, like, I'm not going to feel bad about getting break even here. If it runs now, obviously, I'm a little, sad, but that's okay. So it just hit my break even point again.
There's typically another setup at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, of course, right? Like, so that's where you would have gone to break even?
Yeah,
Okay. Interesting.
but that's not. That's just because that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's just like an eyesight thing. I didn't really see the swing high there. Like honestly, I want to get in on this breaker, but it's not my model.
Yeah, no. Because now you're like fading like a Sibby, right? Like we could just dump through it, but this momentum up is like really good. This sucks.
Yeah. What's Dodgy up to?
I bet you he took that. He had to have taken that. I mean, he's off his lie, but there's no way. Like that's too good. Damn.
See, do you see why my initial frustration with the break-even rule?
No,
I'm
I
not
get it.
saying it's wrong. I just had an initial frustration with it because the model is really good. The setups are immediate and fast, and that it's been the best entry model I've ever used. And so to get break-even, it's
Yeah, it's not great. It's just not great. We probably should have. I don't know, man. I
Don't
follow
worry.
it. I follow it. I follow, the rules of the model, and whatever happens, happens. It's
the
that
rules
first
are what
internal.
paying you.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can have control variables is the rules in the model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Like you said, I'm guessing
No.
we'll get another setup. It's just, it is unfortunate
Right.
that it ended up working. I mean, if it goes all the way to final TP, that will be very sad because that would be like 75 points, and
Yeah.
that would for sure have made back whatever, and we could have just called that. But yeah, it's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find something.
I mean, I think if you entered on the candle close, what was your entry?
Let me get my executions up. I don't like to have them on the chart 'cause it's messy. My entry was 21.74.
74?
Yeah.
Oh, you would have been break even after we hit the high.
It doesn't matter then.
Because you see 936.
Yeah.
So we hit the high here and then wicked down and hit that 21074. I'm not sure what it looked like on micros, but on minis you would have been break. Oh yeah, you would have been break even on both actually. So even if you would have taken that, I think you still would have been break even. But it did hit my second take profit, so that's a little unfortunate. But oh well. Looks like it's gonna come back down here. It'll be break even on the runners anyway.
Well, at least it was break even and not a loss.
Exactly. So take profit at the first high there is 72, and then take profit at the second is like 100. So yeah, $172, and then whatever this profit is right now, which probably be another $100. So yeah, this trade would have been a $300 trade, which is just unfortunate with 4 micros only.
Yeah, I'm copy as well.
Oh yeah,
It's okay. I'm only down 115, so on 2, so 230.
yeah, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
that's literally so easy.
Yeah. It's not bad at all. It's easy if you know how to sit on your hands.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. If I see that red number and I get scared and then I try and make it back immediately, I'll lose both accounts.
By the way, I want to be a little transparent with you. Watching this trade kid break even and then run honestly hurt me inside. It was painful. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I say remove emotions from trading all the time, but it does suck whenever I watch something like that happen, because in my eyes, when we come that close to the high and we don't sweep it, like, I figure like, okay, that's like not a good sign. Maybe I missed an SMT. Maybe there was something, right? And on ES, we did have an SMT, so I thought like there was a chance that, like, you know, price could come back here, and it's better to just go break even and be cautious, especially after taking a loss. You know, I don't want to be reckless and, you know, say, oh, just ignore this, just wait. And so I did have like a little bit of like psychological element playing into that, and I'm always working on that. But like, I'm not, you know, beyond human, and I'm not a machine, or I'm not anything like that. I do have like moments where stuff like that happens, and the best thing to do is, like, you know, I said before, just be patient, wait for that next setup. There's always going to be another one. And like I said, I miss trades all the time, and getting used to missing trades is what's really going to, I feel like, help you be profitable in the long run. Because like you said, like you mentioned, you wanted to just jump in, and it might have worked on this trade, right? But what happens if we soup the high and then come down, and then you cope and say, oh, well, we'll hold the BPR now. And so now you're in an awful entry near the high in premium, coping on the BPR to hold. And then if it doesn't hold, well, you're down 40 points now.
There's nothing worse than being in an awful entry.
Yeah.
Well, besides getting stopped.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I know what you mean. I don't want to take awful entries. You know, like I said, Dodgy takes a lot more trades than you. Like you've said, the model's pretty clear. You know, if you know how to read price, because what makes you more selective is the kind of extremes of the range, right? And if you know how to read the higher time frame, then like you always come in and you say, and I'm not saying one's better than the other because you're both profitable, but just like talking about it, like you'll come in and you'll say, you know, I don't think there'll be an A plus long until we reach the midpoint, you know, of the day's range, until we, you know, come down to this 4-hour BISI here. And you know, I don't actually need the streams in order to kind of like think that myself, but I do like, I like the community, but also I need the streams in order to like sit on my hands.
Yeah. No, I get that. The whole like extremities of the range thing and waiting for the delivery, yeah, you could definitely like learn that and map it out on your own. Like, that's honestly my goal, right? It's to have every single person eventually leave me profitable. And that's the kind of the sentiment I get from a lot of people, is that, you know, they're there for the community, or just to have somebody in their ear, or whatever the case is. It's 30 seconds interesting, but we don't have the delivery.
I know this is different, but it is inside of that first presentation from Friday. But again, like, what is the liquidity? I mean, I kind of want to take it, but
So the problem with this is it goes against overall bias, I think.
yeah, and it's left equal highs, right?
Yeah, but whenever you have that immediate V-shaped reaction, it's like tempting, and this almost even looks like a manipulation leg. So that's what I mean when I say like this looks interesting. But ideally, what we'll actually use it for is just like another entry potentially long.
Yeah. I noticed that a lot. You know, when it starts moving down, you don't get an entry, or you see a setup that you miss or something, but you wouldn't have taken it. You just think, well, it's made a Sibi and there's equal highs, right? So, but now it's formed equal lows on the 30 seconds, so I wouldn't want to take this immediately.
I don't have that. I don't have any
No?
equal
Well,
lows.
so there's a low at 44 and a low at 39.
Oh yeah, I don't have that.
Hey, all right. Well, would you take this?
On AQ? Would I take this? Dude, this is kind of high in premium, but like maybe on an eval because the momentum is so good.
Yeah, I mean it's only going to those equal highs and then you know then what? So
Yeah. I mean, it's got the
yeah,
momentum up, right? So like anytime we get like a data release and then get it like a really good, open like this, like sometimes it just turns into a trend day.
well, I don't know. I want to take it, but that might just be because I want to recover losses.
Yeah, no, I think your best bet would be like if you had an eval, like take this, but if you don't, then yeah, just sit in your hands because
Yeah.
this is too high in
But
premium, right?
yeah. So like you said, from the range from like 32 up, if it were to come down into discount of that, you know, there's like a 1 minute Bissy there. It's also the first one since open. If there was an inversion after that, and it
Yeah,
was clear, that could be an A plus.
yeah, for sure. The other
Yeah.
thing is like we have conflicting draws now, right? So we have these highs and then we have this unfilled 1 minute/2 minute. And so if we come back down to here and hit that, like I think you were just saying, that would be a really good long because we'd get the delivery at that point too. Because like right here, this 30 second, where are we delivering from?
Yeah.
Right. So we've
Man,
hit
I
like a
wish I had
5 minute
one.
now, but
5 minute?
yeah, it's just tiny.
Nah. I wish I had my multiple screens at the moment.
Yeah, that's killer.
Flicking between. Yeah, it is. It's okay. But yeah, so I'm not seeing anything. I've marked out equilibrium of that range just because that would make it A plus really if it were to go below there.
Yeah, 50% kind of lines up nicely with that 2 minute as well.
There's another thing about your guys' model that kind of improved my trading was I'd do like 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute, and then I'd kind of like do 5 minute, 1 minute. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of brushed off things like, especially like the 3 minute. I would never look at the 3 minute. I just thought because it's an odd number, I'm a bit OCD. I just sort of say it was useless, which is silly.
Sure.
Um, do you use Top Step X by any chance?
Nah, I tried using it when it first came out, and honestly, I thought the UI was just not good, so I didn't
Yeah,
bother using it.
it's freezing. It sucks. Huh. Momentum down is strong.
Yeah, this is Death Candle territory for sure.
It's going through that 1 minute Bissy, which is first presentation. But I don't know what the draw would be. So
Um, could be data
like,
lows with this momentum, but
yeah. What do you think? I mean,
it depends if we hold this last gap, this 30 second.
yeah.
Now we've put in a 30 second Sibi to the downside, so we might be able to have like a good long here. Out of the last gap.
Yeah. Could be.
We'll just have to see what kind of happens around the macro because that's about to pop up. But yeah, if we dump through this with this momentum, we're probably going lower.
Would you take anything?
Like, okay, so this is my predicament, right? I enter here, and then that's my stop. So it's probably too big. I'd prefer a long, honestly, because my stop
Yeah.
on the long is a lot better. It's 25
Is
points,
that a
but
long
it's
one of 30
manageable.
seconds?
Yeah, this would be the 30 second.
Yeah, I can see that.
We
And
have a
that's
1
what we
minute,
outlined.
but the 30-second would be better. And then yeah, this goes along with the roadmap. So kind of going back to that idea from
So
before.
what's the risk on this?
25 points, which would be if you want to risk 200, that'd be another 4 contracts. But I'll probably just risk 3 here.
Yeah, fair enough.
This
You
is
include
like
the volume imbalance, right?
the volume imbalance.
Nah, we're on different charts, to be fair.
I see the volume imbalance. It's just not as big on NQ, so like probably not.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's just a tick. The one on MNQ is a lot bigger.
You gonna say something?
I don't know, man. This trade gives me the heebie-jeebies. This one, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like the momentum down is too great. I feel like
Yeah.
a retracement back up is kind of like just like filling in unfilled liquidity. But I don't know. It's really going to depend on the macro here.
I don't know why my Discord keeps spamming me with notifications. I don't know what that is. Right.
No inverse there yet.
No, it's just opened back above equilibrium. We'll see if there's an inverse. I mean, you could even get this inverse down with the 30-second.
This kind of goes back to the whole like external versus internal thing. This is the 30-second gap that's
Yeah.
holding price up. This is the gap that like is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, there's an extent, isn't it? Yeah, I see. Yeah, and it's
But now the stop on the short would be a lot less. So we just have to find like a take profit that's at least 1-to-1, which would be this low down here. So it does make
I
the
don't
short a
wanna
little
take
bit more
it.
appealing, but
in the macro.
yeah.
Macro first presentation. I don't know. I kind of want to take this, but I'm clearly not confident enough.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
it'll depend just on like the candle close and the momentum we get.
Yeah.
We inverse the 2. Yeah, we did.
It looks good.
The 1 we're still holding. I'm just wary of shorts whenever we're like this bullish.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not liking that close there, to be honest, on the 30-second. But there it goes, I guess. Nope. There's
Oh,
another
you
thing
want
I
to take
find-
this 30-second short? I'm talking about taking this short, like entering off the 9:33:30
Oh,
candle.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. That 30-second would have been bad anyway.
Yeah, no, I would not have taken that.
No.
No.
It's kind of just like in the middle of the range. And it's in
Exactly.
discount, so it would have been bad.
I do like this long if we got it because we'd be putting in an order block, and that
Yeah.
could be good.
Yeah. That would be good. I see that. And that just goes, you know, your chart on the 4 hour, that large wick and the BPR, like you can't ignore that. It is bullish, I would say. Were you watching price at 8:30?
Not really. I was just talking to my girlfriend and making some breakfast, so I had.
It was kind of funny, you know, the way it just. I've seen news release loads, but it's just. It is crazy. People say
Yeah.
it's random.
All right, let's see. Are we gonna get this 30-second close? All right, we just got it there. So,
Would you take this?
I don't know. This one's tough. I mean, it's in the macro. We get the death candle, but like, I don't really love that we have like conflicting draws. I do think this works though, because the
But it's
momentum.
too late. Too late for me to enter.
Well, there's
Maybe
the
if
retrace
we-
again.
Yeah. How many should I take?
Like 3.
Yeah. There we go. Whatever. We're in. We'll get a break even, hopefully. And if this is a loss, I will not. It is not your responsibility
Okay.
because I mean none of it's your responsibility anyway. But you were saying you felt bad, and I don't think you should.
No, I get that. So I just took off 2 there. And I'm just holding
Yeah,
the
yeah.
runner.
You know, one mistake I've made quite a lot. I don't know if you've ever made this mistake. Is when I try and sometimes like I'll do a market order to take off a partial,
Mhm.
and I'll if I'm in a short, I'll like sell more because I just don't realize. And I'm have you ever done that? And you make the position larger?
No, I'm holding for the data wick though. I just sorry, I'm locked in on this trade.
No, that's okay. Me too. I entered with 3 and I took 2 off, so I'm in on 1.
Nice, yeah, me too. If we can get to the data wick here, I'm not trying to like I'm obviously trying to pay attention to you, but if we get to the data wick, it'd be
that's
like
okay.
$150 or 75 points.
Yeah, myself too. I'd have 150 across 2 accounts.
Yeah, like I said, we need good momentum down in order to target the data wick, and now that we're kind of getting that, we did just fill in that gap again, so I'm kind of concerned about that, getting filled, but I'm hoping that we can just, continue to head lower, break this 15-minute BISI, and, to hit that data low. I think it has the momentum for it, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah. I should have taken that 30-second, but no. It didn't jump out at me like light bulb really.
Well, you're talking about this 30-second, right? The 950?
Let's see your screen. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one has the death candle. This has the momentum. This has like the convincing close that I'd look for in a trade. This one not necessarily. I mean, it kind of has it here, but like the close isn't super convincing. It's like, yeah, we don't even get the entry until. Actually, there is no entry until this candle forms. We never get the close below.
True.
So,
yeah.
No, you entered at the perfect time.
Yeah. Are we about to get break even, do you think?
Yeah, probably. But it was worth a shot, right? Like,
you might get a good long from here.
it just depends on the 30-second candle close here. But yeah, it was definitely worth a shot. We had the macro, so hopefully we're just filling in unfilled liquidity and we keep heading lower here.
Well, we would have recovered most of that loss.
Yeah. If we hit this low again and that puts you back break even on the day and that makes you comfortable and that'll help your trading psychology throughout the rest of the day, going into PM, taking more setups, etc., then maybe that's better for you than trying to hold for the total profit.
I don't mind. It's a good shout, but I'm at -22. I don't mind. And what I would actually do if I don't get break even right now is if it hit that low and made a bearish order block, I would just put my stop like above that.
Oh, okay.
Which is already pretty much there anyway. There we go, break even.
Gotcha.
But no, yeah, I see what you're saying. My psychology is okay today. I'm not really afraid. Like, I don't want a losing day. I want to have a payout at the end of the week. But what does it matter? I've made an entire salary this month already. I've never done that before. So
that's awesome.
So what about this? What about this 2-minute?
2-minute back up. I'm guessing you're talking about. Honestly, I think the draw is lower at this point.
Yeah, because the data wick. But
I think we've attacked this gap too many times. I think the momentum down is too strong. I think we're just going to keep heading lower. And then ultimately, then we might get along after hitting the lows there. Yeah. I'm still in this trade because I entered back up here. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah. I should have been more clear on the entry. I don't know.
It's okay. I mean, I could get in on 1 micro on an order block, but,
I just wanted to see that reaction because this candle was like super energetic. So remember yesterday when we were entering that trade, I wanted to see if we were going to get the retrace.
Yeah.
So I was watching to see if we were going to get a reaction off this gap. And because we didn't, and we didn't even come close to the gap, I figured that it would be a good trade after that, right? That it would be better to enter on the close. So that's all. But yeah, now this momentum down is really good. My stop is now in profit, so now I'll just have to see. But I hear so what a normal person would do is they would just take profit at the data wick, like to the actual tick amount. What I always do is I try and take profit a couple points before, especially on a massive move like this, because I don't think it's worth trying to risk a couple extra bucks to secure like the actual data wick take. And if we get an SMT here where we hit the data low on ES but not an NQ, I will 100% just cut the trade because like I said, it's not worth risking 60 or 70% of the trade to see a potential like SMT.
I think your draw is correct. I'm just gonna head to the bathroom quick.
All right, yeah, take your time. I'm just
I
waiting on this trade to
wish
play
you
out.
luck in your TP.
Thank you.
Order filled.
Come on, bro.
So how did it go for you? Oh, you're still in.
Yeah, I'm still in. NQ's being a pain.
Yeah.
It's always
I
those last
actually,
couple takes.
I was gonna say I actually did. I jumped back in with one micro with a like break even stop on an order block.
Sure.
It made me $2.
Nice. Good job, man.
Yeah, but no, I'm down $20 on each account. Somehow I'm down 36 on my follower. I'm not sure how. Doesn't matter. So yeah, it's pretty good at the moment. It's not an issue. It's practically break even.
Yeah.
Even if I close today here, you know, the first loss of the month being $20, you know, that it looks really good on the calendar.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's also nice too is you know, we technically should have been 2 for 3 today. It's just unlucky break even on that first one, and then on this one, you know, I think it actually ended up working, but
I keep seeing, you know, nice 1 minute setups in this, but you know, the data low is the draw.
yeah. I wanted to make sure that we didn't get there with ES, and we haven't. But dude, like, why? Why is this sending it all the way back up? I wanted to take profits so bad when I was up like $130 on a single micro, and
I won't lie, I want to take this.
Oh, the long?
Yeah.
Well, we have the draw below still. The data lows. Even though the reaction is really good, it's just nothing.
Is there ever a chance that these, you know, I've seen a lot, you know, like you said with the trending day,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't have to go to the data low.
That's fair.
But then I started the day with a bearish bias. I don't know, man.
Honestly, like when I have conflicting draws, I just wait for one to be broken. So what is your draw on liquidity right now?
Yeah, exactly. I can't
like to the upside.
Question.
Like obviously,
Yeah.
I mean you have the ITH here, but
there's those look at that. There's those equal highs from before that we both pointed out, but
oh, you mean like these
you know,
up here?
overnight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, that's not a good enough draw. They need to be either perfect equal or like, you know, there needs to be unfilled liquidity to the upside here. Maybe there's like a 5 minute that we're coming. Yeah, so we're coming back for this 5 minute. Okay, so this could have been okay, but like I said, it's not. At this point, we're too close to the data lows to ignore them.
No,
so
you're correct.
I would just wait. I mean, we've had 3 setups this morning that have all been like A plus. So for me, this would be more of like a B setup because we have the conflicting draws. So it's best to just continue to take A plus.
Yeah, I mean, I should just be happy that I recovered that loss near enough.
Yeah. Be realistic. Be reasonable. You know.
Yeah, it's good to watch. It's good to tape read it. It looked good, like a pattern trade, I guess, as Dodgy would say.
Yeah, for sure. So we made equal highs there on NQ.
Yeah,
so
we did.
maybe we can leave those behind and go back for the data wick now and then get a good draw later on.
Yeah, you're right, actually, because if that happened after the data wick was taken, then we'd be A plus.
Yeah, then I would take it for sure.
Yeah, no, you're correct. And it's like, well, when I was learning ICT, I kind of had to. I didn't really understand a lot, and then I realized like liquidity itself is like the fuel to make things move.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you think about like smart money pushing the markets and stuff, if that long were to be A plus, like whose stops did they take to, did they take enough stops to go long? The data wick. There's definitely liquidity under there. You're right. So yeah. Yeah, I like that mindset.
This would be cool though if we left these equal highs here. That would be such a good draw
Yeah.
after taking, the data lows. I'm kind of hoping we leave them.
Yeah, if we catch one A plus long, and we can be done.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna be upset if we don't. It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll
It's
be able
what we're here
to get something in PM. Worst case scenario, nothing else happens
Yeah.
this session.
Yeah, I saw I had locked out PM yesterday after taking some profit, and I got a friend who's kind of going through like 22 mentorship and stuff, and I will be sending him to your streams. He
That's
actually
good.
asked me. But I showed him, I saw a 30-second, basically like a pattern trade long, but it was like at 349, and I showed him, I just went on like a demo account, I just like full ported it, and just like, I know it's bad habit, so I actually got stopped immediately, but it ran just 350. Sometimes it's like a news candle, I don't know why. It's a really strong macro.
So I just got break even there.
Okay.
That's so tough. I was really hoping that runner could play out, but yeah, no. This is probably what I should have cut, and I should have just let it do its thing. But at this point, if we were to inverse like this gap now, like I don't know, man. I guess the data wick's not in play anymore. Like this should probably hold if, or I guess this 2-minute we should probably hold if we're still bearish, but it's not really looking that way at all. So I guess like this is okay as an entry, but like I said, I just don't know what your draw is. This momentum up is way too bullish though.
Well, that 4 hours still looks really good as well, and like to consider we just opened a new 4-hour candle. What would have been really good? Have you ever seen if there's like at 10 o'clock if there's an SMT between ESNQ on the 4-hour open? That's usually really nice.
Yeah. The other thing about this too is it's 10 a.m. reversal, and I had that in the back of my mind, like, great, now it's 10 a.m. If this setup doesn't hit now, I'm probably screwed. And every single candle after has just been a green candle, basically. So
this is like a 40-point stop, though, right?
This 2-minute? Nah, it's about. I wouldn't call this an inception gap. I would say if we're coming back down here, that's too many points. So if we got this 2-minute, it would be like just like an IFEG normally, but I'm probably not going to take it at this point. I've taken 3 setups, 1 break even, 1 win, 1 loss, and I'm break even on the day now. So
yeah,
I'm probably just gonna sit on my hands the rest of the morning. But this looks good to like take on like eval. I don't know about funded, but yeah, no inverse there. So
no, that 1 minute would have been good, but we were really close to that data wick.
Yeah, this 30-second, the 1 minute, all that would have been like A plus had we just taken the data wick. But when we have conflicting draws, it's just best to sit. I mean, I don't think Dodge is taking that, so you continue to use him as like a guide. If he's not entering a trade, then that's probably not a good one to take. He knows better than me on a lot of these anyway. The 1 minute?
No, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all.
I think the 2 minute's still better, but the 1 minute now
Yeah.
is, also like the momentum up is just like undeniable. Like we're probably just going to continue to go up here.
Yeah, I kind of want to find an entry. I mean, there's a good 30-second here. I might just get in on this.
Yeah, like I said, I would be waiting, but I'm not going to tell you what buttons to push. So
Yeah, it's okay.
we do have an SMT. I just noticed
At the highs.
at this high here. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the momentum up, you're still good. I would probably just go to break even after retaking this high again. But I'm more conservative on chase play, so it's definitely up to you. This is now like the second day in a row we've missed sell side liquidity.
Man, Top Step X is awful.
I really like Trade Evade. Do you use Replicanto?
Yeah, sorry?
Do you use Replicanto, like the trade comp here?
No. I only trade with Top Step at the moment, and they have a built-in trade copy between accounts.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I've heard about the follower account, like, balance differences being a problem on Replicanto, but I hadn't heard about that on Top Step X.
No, it's just I have to keep refreshing because it's just slowing down.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like when early in the summer when they were kind of ironing out the creases with Top Step X, the amount of times they would email and say we've reverted all losing trades because of a slowdown. One time, I ended up basically I was like trying to pass an eval in like 2 days, and I I ended up taking a big loss and a big win, and it led me to be at like 1.5k profits. And that's the most you can make because of the 50% consistency rule. And then they emailed and they said, we've reverted all losing trades. So it ended up that I was up like 4k. And I emailed them and I said, look, I've got to make another like 4k to pass this now because of that. And so they just passed me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. I didn't deserve it, and I blew the account. But
Yeah.
it was just classic Top Step X, I guess. This trade is going good, and I'm in break even right now.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Are you even just a micro?
2.
2?
Mm.
So you're up probably about 30 points right now?
Yeah. I've got break even stop, and I kind of just want to take 200 and go again, just because of like this should be the last trade anyway. So I think I'm just gonna take it at that high if it gets there as like a full pull.
Okay.
And just be done. Because like if I get break even, that's okay, and if I get the full pull, then all the more. But either
Yeah.
way, I think
Put
I
your
should be
stop
done
5
now.
points in profit or 6 points in profit.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that, because I'm down 21. If I put my stop,
6 points.
yeah.
So you can get bottom ticked right for 6 points, end up break even, and then you can watch your trade play out without you.
I mean, maybe I should take one off here, but yeah.
I like your idea. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
It's got the momentum.
If I get 200, because I think we got visitors in the PM, and I might not. It might be just rude if I'm on stream.
Yeah, no,
I might
I
pop
get that.
in. I always show up because I just enjoy being in the chat, but
For sure.
that day that I was just gambling and I made 2k in December, I actually felt really bad. I don't know if you could tell.
Nah, don't.
It's just because, like, for me, if I witnessed that, it would have impacted me. I'm not on about for you, but for a student, it would have actually made me like if I was at a loss because of something stupid and this guy was making 2K because of something stupid, I really, really would have just thought blow or go mindset or something, but not everyone's
Nah,
like that.
nah. I'm trading against myself. I'm not trading against anyone else.
Whoa, just got bottom ticked. Somehow I'm up $11 on that. Did you
Nice.
did you see that? What the
I
hell was
did.
that?
Yeah. Hey man, that's the market.
I know. Wow, man.
Hey, it's all
Damn, it's
good.
been hard today.
You're up. Yeah. No, it's definitely not easy today. I have no idea what that was. I don't think it was news related. I think that sometimes things just get high resistant and then stuff like that happens. I think this 1 minute down would be good. Have a nice break even
Ye-
point, and then
Yeah, coming off of a like breaker here. Yeah,
we have the
it
five
feels
minute too.
momentum.
I think this is like a B setup. Like this is another eval trade. Honestly, like at this point, I'm done. I'm not taking any more funded
I
trades.
know.
I just we've taken three setups. Three setups is good, and plus like you're building good habits by not over trading. And it's unfortunate how some of the stuff is played out, but there will be a setup that comes out on a different day that will make it worth your while. And like you said, you've gotten paid for the month, so you still have another 20 days or 17 days before that getting paid again becomes a problem. So you can take this extra day now and walk
Well, what
away
about
with.
this being premium? This way too high in premium for a long.
Yeah, probably the 32nd year. I mean, we don't really have like a good draw like a data wick or equal highs, so I probably wouldn't take it, but maybe on eval, you know.
Yeah. Well, I made $10. That's some store-bought sushi.
Nice.
So yeah, on one of my express fundeds, I've got 11 winning days. So you need 30 before you can get 100% out. I
Yeah.
wouldn't take that because you close the account. But well, I mean, I would because I just pass another.
Mm-hmm.
I would never want to go live with Top Step. I don't see the point in it.
Yeah, any prop for him to be honest. You get a lot more leverage when you're not on live, so you can end up making more money. Which is what I was going to mention to you earlier. If you want to end up improving your trading, stick to the $200 thing, but just increase your leverage. Just get more accounts.
Yeah, that's what I was aiming for. That's why I've started to copy trade. That's the plan.
Yeah. This momentum up looks pretty sick, man. Looks
There
like
is
it's
a good
gonna
break
be.
even. I will admit I did take it.
Yeah, it just sucks because there was no close.
It's just there's a good break
Oh,
even.
you took the
So
1 minute. Sorry, I was looking at the 30-second. I thought the 30-second was more obvious. So
oh,
I would
see,
have been
well,
invalid.
I shouldn't have taken the 1 minute just because the 30-second was still waiting then.
Yeah. But all good. I
Want me
mean,
to
it
get
worked
break
out.
even?
No. It's going to work. You're going to work to the highest. You're going to get your 200.
Yeah.
What do you need for 200? Did you take that with like 5 micros since the stop was pretty
I
small?
took it with 2.
Oh, okay. So you need 50 points. All right.
Yeah, see, that's why I took it because I shouldn't have taken it, so just took it with 2.
Yeah, just shoot for high a day then.
Okay, yeah, good point.
That would be 50. You could even do something like take a partial at the high, like this high here. That would be for about 40 points, which would put you at $80, and then this here would put you at about 105, 110, and then $11 should put you just around 200. If it doesn't, you can take another like scalp for like $20 extra and just play with profits. And regardless, if you're not able to make that scalp money, it doesn't matter because it doesn't count as a winning day, right? You need 200 in order for it to count as a winning day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're good. You know how to do the math. I don't need to sit here and do the math for you. I need to be
That's
sitting
the
here
one
telling
thing
you,
I
don't take
actually
the.
suck at.
You shouldn't be in this. You should be closing this for profit right now and journaling and getting off the charts. That's what I should be telling you, but I know that that's probably not realistic or reasonable. So
No, but I wouldn't want to take anything after this. But like, that's what's hard, isn't it?
yeah, I just want you to recognize like there's a certain pattern here. So you mentioned that on the last trade, there, you wouldn't take anything else, right? You
Yeah, that's
you
why I
chased
said
long,
that's what's hard.
and then you took this trade after saying that you weren't going to take anything else.
Yeah.
So I just want you to recognize that pattern and think about it.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, all right, that was that. That was the break even.
All right.
So what we've got is we've got 30 on one and we've got 15 on the other. I think I had like a chunk change on one account at the time, so that's why there's a difference. Yeah, I mean you can't win every day.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, you're winning right now.
Yeah.
You're up. You're winning, so don't be so hard on yourself.
It definitely still works to the highs, but like even if I kept my stop like in a bit of a loss, I'm sure I would have been ticked there.
Yeah. I will say, don't keep this $200 level that you've set for yourself or the top step set or whatever as a hard fixed rule that has to happen every single day.
That's the problem.
The charts don't care about you, man. They will do whatever,
exactly.
and they don't care if you make $200, $400, $1,000. And just because Top Step says that's what you need to make, they're doing that on purpose. Why do you think Top Step says that's what you need to make?
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's how I've blown accounts. You know, their worst rule, it's like small print, where when you take a payout, your maximum loss limit becomes 0. So if you take a payout, so like right now on this account, my balance is 1.34k, but my maximum loss is 0. So my 2k drawdown has now been decreased to 1.34k.
Yeah, that's normal for any other prop.
I know, but it's, but you know what? I probably will show up in the PM, just trying.
By the way, this 30-second looks decent. I mean, the 1 minute would be way better, but this momentum down is pretty good.
What are you doing to me, man?
Nothing. Don't take anything else. I'm just saying. I'm just taping.
Okay. Yeah.
It's break even already. It would have been a break even trade. You didn't miss nothing. Just calling it out as I see it.
Yeah, the 1 minute hasn't even come yet anyway. But I don't really. It doesn't look too. I don't know. Like there isn't. If there were like equal lows, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of BPR below, or not very clear BPR, but just.
There's this 5 minute below that looks like a good draw.
Yeah.
Unfilled, probably gonna head there, but we need to wait for that 1 minute. Is what it really is.
Now we just tape read. I mean, I can lock until PM. That is a feature I've got.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, let's see. So you can click custom, and my computer is still set to UK time, so it's 6. Say just 6 PM. 2 hours 38 minutes. Done.
Nice.
I think. Yeah, and if I turn off copy trading, it will let me lock the other one out. So no loss today. I probably will be around in the PM.
Hey man, you got guests coming over. That doesn't seem very very host like.
Okay, I know you're right. You know what this is? This is that hard $200 thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Don't let it mess with your head, bro. They want you to think like that. They want you to keep trading. That's why it's there.
Yeah, well, it's been good, and I'm sure we'll just tape read until the end.
Yeah, there's the 1 minute close, by the way. I don't see a world where this doesn't work to that 5 minute, but we'll see. Yeah, we're just tape reading. I mean, I think it's in your best interest to stop trading. We've taken lots of trades. There's been lots of opportunity today. So even though there's a setup that looks great, I mean, that's how some of these days get. And the problem is you build the habits on days like today where, okay, wow, we have equal lows too. I didn't even see those. Well, you kind of get in these situations where you like build bad habits on trading days where like every single trade is going to hit. And then you get to the days where like not every trade works. And then you use those same habits. And then you end up like making like really bad errors on those days that end up blowing accounts. But yeah, that was pretty good. I can't even lie. I feel bad now for telling you to lock out, but yeah, no, that was pretty A+. Like, damn.
Like I have guests coming over, but
no, don't worry about it. No, like do whatever you want with your life. I'm not gonna judge you one way or another. Do whatever you want. If you want to host, go for it. If you want to hop on PM stream, go for it. You're always welcome. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life.
I'll check it out.
for sure.
But you know, I can't be upset. I'm not bothered. It's not a loss.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, I've done really well recently. I think.
Yeah, do me a favor. Use today not as, don't view it as a failure. Don't view it as like, oh, I didn't meet my goal today. View it as like, I'm working on my mental psychology. I'm
Yeah.
going to purposely not take a trade for the rest of the day and walk away from today not making that $200 because I know in the long run it's going to make it so that I avoid the worst case scenario, which is blowing an account. Okay?
Exactly. That's what we want to avoid. Because I could easily just blow an account today. I could turn off that hard stop and just it's inside of me. It's something that I can do. I can just turn off like, oh, I don't care. You know.
Yeah. And
When
so,
you do care, you just don't care until after the fact.
exactly. So,
But I look at my I'll send it to you now. Something I do when I'm trying to like right now, like obviously I've locked, so it's you know, it is what it is, but something when I'm trying to convince myself, okay, get off and stop now, is I'll look at my calendar because it will show me how much I've made for the day, and I'll just look at how it looks overall. So if it's
mhm.
like I've just sent it to you now, and like I look at that, and I think even if it's like a $20 loss, I'm like, okay, I can. If I close the day with that, I'll be happy with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, if I close a day, it says up $30, like that's fine, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm here to learn.
It's just keep reminding yourself like all of these rules that are set in place by these prop firms are intended to do one thing, right? The same way that we view the markets through the market maker's eyes, and we look at, oh, they're targeting commissions, so this is the reason why the market wants to go to this spot or whatever, right? Is the same way that prop firms view us. They want to try and blow our accounts and take our money. And one way they're going to do that is by installing psychological factors like the $200 limit, right? They're saying, okay, you make no progress on this day unless you make $200. That's not fair to you. That's not realistic. Not every day is going to end up positive, but to you, you think you can do it because you've seen it work in the past. And then that's how they get you on those days where you're like, oh, I lost $200 on this trade. That's okay. That's totally recoverable. I'll just double my risk. And then on the next trade, I'll make the 200. And then you double your risk, and now you've lost half of your daily loss limit. And then you go, oh crap, I have to make this back because now I've lost 3 days worth of profit. I'll increase my risk one more time, and then you blow the DLL, right? Or the account, worse. So, would you say that that's like a pretty common occurrence?
100%. Yeah. And like I said, I was pretty comfortable for 2 weeks, just making profit and leaving, and I'm trying to grow into being able to, like, if I take A plus, take it on a like on 2 accounts.
Yeah.
It's not vital, say like I've taken a few losses, then I'll turn that feature off. But so this is like day 2 of copy trading, and to be able to just like stop would be like that. I'd be pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to sit with the itch that I've got now, because it's annoying. That's something I can sit and reflect on.
Mm-hmm.
And
The only way you're going to be able to get over it is by doing one of 2 things. Buy an itch cream, or learn to live with it. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to get around it.
That's
So.
okay. It's for the week I'm up $233. Yesterday, I was watching a stream with Dodgy, and he didn't notice this 30-second short, but he did after the fact.
Mhm.
Someone pointed it out, and he said, "Oh, that was actually really good." And I did take it. I took it copy trade.
Was it the confirmation setup off of the original 2-minute short?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was A plus. I think I brought it up
Yeah,
in
I
stream.
saw it. Sorry.
I think I brought that up in stream yesterday too.
I think you did. Yeah. I saw it, and my draw was lower anyway, so it jumped right out at me. It looked really good.
Yeah.
And I find, like, when you wait for something to jump out at you, it's almost like, for me at least, it's like pressing the button is kind of like automatic. Like, I'm looking at them print, and I can tell if it's something I don't want to take. But if it's really light bulb, like it's kind of like the same as like catching a ball that's coming to your face. You press the button, not like a gambling thing, but like, of course, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it reduces fear so much that I don't second guess pressing buy or sell. Um, because like you said earlier on when we took that loss, if this loses, that's just like fine, that's the model, you
Hmm.
know. And so I don't have this fear of a loss because like I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm not doing anything wrong if I were to sell right now or buy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's not even really about the money. We're trying to be right or wrong that makes us fearful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, A plus is the best, and if that means only taking 3 trades a week, then that's where I want to get to.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, there's like a couple pieces of homework that I think you could take away from this one-on-one that I feel like would really help your trading. The first being to like start using an alternative account for any trades that like you want to scratch the itch for, right? That's basically like your itch cream essentially is having, an eval account that, has some stakes to it that, will keep you invested in the game, um, but also not be devastating if you lose it, or just have a paper account if you think that would be good enough to scratch the itch, and just try and run that up and see what's possible, right? Um, and then the other aspect is take 3 setups a day maximum. Like that's literally it. And be super choosy about those setups. Regardless of whether or not you hit that $200 level, take 3 setups a day. And after those 3 setups, be done. Whether that happens in the morning, whether you save, a setup for PM, those being able to restrict yourself from taking more than that will definitely help you in the long term.
Yeah.
And then once you've kind of built that out as a good habit, maybe expand yourself to 4 setups. Say, okay, I'll take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, or 3 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, right? Until you just get to a comfortable place where you've, really mastered being able to self-regulate and self-control your ability to take trades. And then after that, do whatever you want. Because at that point, you should know what works and what doesn't, and what works for your psychology and doesn't. And for me, it's worked like tremendously. Like when I first started trading, it was within like my first 5 months of being in Dodgy's Discord. I used to take a bunch of setups all the time, and obviously they weren't high quality. And then I started taking 1 setup a day, and I got like a 5-figure payout as soon as I started doing that.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to, and it's just about knowing which one at which time, you know.
Yeah, and we can kind of go over that. I think the best setups to take are usually after 950, and they usually like involve some sort of V shape, responding off of a higher time frame, meaning 15-minute plus gap. Those setups like present like all the time, and they work all the time. And if it's not having that, like it's a setup in the middle of the range, or it's a setup without a good draw or a good delivery, it's not worth taking like ever. And so that eliminates like 70% of those trades. Okay, and then you're really just picking between like 2 or 3 good trades a day, and then picking one and having it work. And usually that one setup forms during the macro time, and that's the setup you know to take.
Yeah.
I know it sounds a lot simpler, me saying it than it actually is.
I
But
understood everything you said. I mean, you seem much better off waiting for those, extreme ends of the range, waiting for, um, you know, proper liquidity sweeps,
yeah,
when I first started about a month ago in this Discord, and I hadn't learned, I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't totally like know the rules of the models. So there'd be sometimes I'd just take a 30-second or 1 minute inversion, and it's got like equal highs or lows, and then I realized that there's a specific reason why you shouldn't do that. Like below, so like take a long and there's equal lows below or something. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm here. That's what I've said, is to just. So I think I can point out an A plus setup pretty well, but again, it's I want to. Everyone wants to take every setup, right? Like deep down,
yeah,
even ICT said if there was a way to trade and not lose,
yeah.
But even still, if there was a way to just press a button and get money, we wouldn't even trade. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we're not playing a video game. We're not trying to have fun. You know, and I do. That's something I got to do with my life. Really, is you know, I was hyper focused on this stuff for a while, but now I don't really need to be as much, just because I'm at a level I'd like to be at,
Yeah.
and so you know, spending more time on other leisure activities or just other like things to work on would probably take away that need
Yeah.
in trading for yeah, I mean, I think I'll do well this year.
For sure. My big thing this year has been reading. Like, I really want to get into reading and literature and all that. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what I've used as like a thing to step away from the charts. But it's trading is such a weird thing because we as humans often associate progress with more time and more effort, right? And
Yeah.
learning and working and whatever. And that's not the case in trading. Trading has like the worst diminishing returns I've ever seen. And most of the time, it's like negative diminishing returns, right? Where the more time you put in, oftentimes like you have negative outcomes. You know, it's not like you have continued growth. It's like that just decreases. It's you have regressive, um, progress.
Yeah.
So being able to recognize that and put that into your trading is definitely going to help you, because there is a point where people end up on the charts too long, and I see them all the time in these discords, whether it's the jungle or this one or whatever, and they're on the charts for every session: Asia, London, New York, PM, and I wonder when they sleep, and then I find out they've spent all this time doing it and they're still not profitable. Maybe they get a payout once every 6 months, but they're not they're not making the income to justify working 20 hours a day. If you're making 20 or if you're working 20 hours a day, go get a labor job. Go, pick up two different jobs at an office. You're going to walk away with more money in the long run, right? And so
Yeah.
for this, I mean, 1-2 hours a day is probably good enough most days. Unless, you're still learning, or, you can't necessarily, pick up on things, and you need somebody in your ear. And outside of that, like if you're trading AM and PM, that's fine, but only on days where like AM didn't present a good trade and you missed it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like AM's been good, so it's not. It's more so that I didn't catch a good, you know, full take profit.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. I mean, there are times, I'm in Florida at the moment on vacation, but there are times in the UK, I've been up since, I've been on the chart since lunchtime, which is like 7 p.m., 7 a.m. here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've stayed on until the end of the PM session, having done nothing but blow an account.
Yeah.
And PM session ends at 9 p.m. in the UK, so
Wow.
you just go to bed, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, wow, I've done an office job for 8 hours today, and I've earned negative, and that's the opposite of why I'm trying to do this.
Yeah. Well, don't necessarily look at it like an office job. Look at it like a business, right? You're just a business owner. Sometimes business owners work 16-hour days and lose money, right? They don't sell enough sandwiches. They don't have enough customers come in, whatever, right?
Yeah,
And so that viewing it like an office job where you have that secure, stable income is a little misrepresentative, because you're more like a business owner than an
Yeah,
office
yeah.
worker. Even though sometimes it feels like you're an office worker, because you're just in an office basically, right? I'm guessing you have an office.
Yeah, I have a desk. Yeah. But going on to we're just having a chat at this point, watching the charts. That's fine. Going on to like um having something else, like you said about literature and stuff. I mean, I need to learn to drive this year, so that's something.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm looking now. By the way, like I'm taking a look at that.
That
I
1
again, I
minute.
don't understand. I'm taking a look at that first pivot gap after 9:30. If you were to use that for the
Oh,
data
okay.
wick,
Um, this one.
it's clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
This is
So
the 9:30.
uh, yeah. Draw that out. That should be it. So the rule is the first candle has to be 9:30 of the three candle pattern. So it can't be like 9:29, 9:30,
Yeah,
9:31.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like I said, you guys have your model, but I have watched a lot of 2024, and like most of it is literally just tape reading price, like the whole mentorship. This before I watched that, I was a lot more lost, basically, and that's just because of the amount of screen time you get from watching it. Um, but yeah, the first fair value gap, if you know where liquidity is and stuff, and you use the right times, like it can be really good.
Yeah.
And it was clean right there. I used to use it basically as an entry to, trade into the regular trading hours gap, which was pretty solid. Um, but yeah, I have some old sort of draws and liquidity models that I still incorporate, but I limit myself to just take an inversion entry. Sometimes I might get back in on an order block, but
No, I
if I
get that.
limit to inversion entries, the win rate, my current win rate is like 46.
Okay.
Um, and before it was like 30, sometimes like 28.
Okay.
Um, so it's certainly better. Um, but if I look at the 5 minute or the 15 minute, we've kind of just been range bound, right? Besides targeting the data lows now.
Yeah, no, we just hit that data wick now, so that's taken care of. So now we're just going to be looking at draws to the upside, maybe after, this sell side gets swept down here. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
this 1 minute was pretty textbook. I see what you're talking about, the first gap after 9:30, how we respected it here from the 10:23 onward candles after inversing it. Um, but yeah, damn, bro. That's crazy. That 1 minute was pretty fire. It
Yeah,
just
I
sucks that
locked
we didn't
out.
really have the delivery, but even still,
It's okay.
we had this 30
It's
second to the left.
again, it's delivering off of Friday's first gap to the tick.
Right.
So like I have all this stuff on my chart, but like I'm trying not to get, like you said, shiny object syndrome, and like don't feel bad because like it's good advice.
Yeah.
And I've still tape read today. Like I've seen a lot. But I do like to use them sometimes. There was a long we took in PM once that, well, you didn't take it because of the delivery. It didn't deliver off anything, but it delivered off an NDOG or an NWOG or something,
Okay.
and I had it on my chart, and it just looked too clean, and I took it, and it was fire.
Nice. Okay.
So it's I I don't mind incorporating that stuff into my model, but like while I'm still learning this stuff we've gone through today, it's fine for me like not to always do that, just because that can be for later when I'm comfortable. Because right now, I'm like still very prone to tilt, so there's no point in like I learned last year that strategy doesn't mean anything.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Like we obviously have the best strategy. I'd say there's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
With liquidity and ICT, whatever you want to call it. But you know, I think a problem a lot of ICT traders fall into is just their strategy seems so good that they just completely neglect psychology for like a year,
Yeah.
and you know. But then there are people that trade moving averages and moon phases, and they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a 1 minute long.
Yeah. I've got it pulled up. I'm looking at it. It looks.
I'm gonna
It
just
looks A plus.
I'm locked. I'm just gonna take it on demo.
Okay. Yeah. This would be. I'm looking at the 30-second chart right now, which we put it in equal highs at. So.
Order fill.
I don't know. We'll see, but it's got that look to it.
Yeah, there's a 15-minute Bissy we missed once more, but
Yeah, I'm
maybe
not too worried about it. That's my only other concern is that we missed sweeping sell side, but we hit the data low wick, so if we see a reversal here, it's okay. Like we should see price have a reaction to us hitting the data low wick, and we also have a bullish SMT. So there's a couple things here that are telling me like seeing a reversal here makes sense, and I don't necessarily need to see that sell side swept. But yeah, obviously.
I've definitely learned a lot today, just in how it feels to kind of, like you were saying, just stay calm.
Yeah.
And sit on your hands. Because
Yeah.
I'm not really bothered, like if this setup works, I'm not really bothered because like what I've learned in the past month is this stuff happens all the time.
All the time. Like
As
we've
in-
had 6
as
setups
in-
today.
Yeah, man, these setups happen all the time, and it's like, oh no, I locked out, so that means I can't capitalize on this setup. I can't make 200, 300, whatever. But I can do it in PM or I can do it tomorrow, no doubt.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be in PM. It will happen again. But the only thing that I can control is like if I lose $1,000 today, then if I do make 200 tomorrow, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
You know. So
The illusion is
yeah,
too that
it
this is going to
is.
be a winning setup. Like that's the illusion. Like sure, it might be. Like it might end up being a break-even trade, but there's also the chance that like this ends up being a massive losing setup and we see a giant down close candle and it's not good. Obviously though, that doesn't really help my case when it just went break even, but yeah, no. Like that's oftentimes the illusion that we tell ourselves is like, "Oh, I'm missing out on this opportunity to make a bunch of money." Well, you're also missing out on the opportunity to lose a bunch of money. You just don't know which way the market's going to go until after it's happened. So,
I think I need today. I don't know what I'll do. Like, I really, obviously, like you said, I really probably shouldn't try and trade PM, but I think I needed today to end the way it did because my goal going into this week is 5 winning days, which I need Monday to Friday, right?
yeah.
Like, which if I push for that, I will fall flat on my ass, and like, um, it's good to if I can force myself to just like I can steal that opportunity from myself by not getting that winning day today,
Yeah.
then I let go of that because the reason I want it this week is because I'm flying away, I'm flying back at the start of next week,
Yeah.
and then I'll be going back to my job and stuff and only trading like PM, missing out on a lot of AM sessions, but um, I've I've made double my job salary this month
Yeah.
in payouts.
You're trying to be greedy, and
Yeah, yeah,
anytime you're
exactly.
trading with
Exactly.
with emotions, you're making bad choices. So if it's not today where the setup ends up wrecking you, it's going to be tomorrow because we have bad
Yeah,
PA
yeah,
and you force a
exactly.
setup.
And
So it's okay to let things be as they are and just not force anything and just don't let the realities of your you know I guess life impact your trading, right? You mentioned earlier in the beginning of the stream that you didn't have any sense of desperation in
No.
regards to your trading or anything like that, but right now what you're admitting to me sounds like there's a little bit of desperation, at least when it comes to
Sure.
wanting to get these 5 winning days, and you have what's it called, the work week coming up and you want to get all that stuff done. So I get that, but there you go. That's letting your life influence your trading. Like I said, you can't let those things influence it. You just got to let one thing influence your trading, and that's taking A+ setups. So
No, yeah, that's where I want to be. I've had a bit of a mindset shift. I just want to stick to it.
for sure,
It feels good.
awesome. But yeah,
because it. Sorry, go on. Say what you were gonna say.
I was just gonna kind of like take this as an opportunity to like maybe discuss some of the things that you want me to write down in my notes. I mean, obviously I'll have the video, but I also write a detailed note sheet over everything we talked about. So I wrote down a couple topics of concern, and maybe you can guide me on some other things you want me to address as well.
Okay.
So I have the taking partials early thing and how to address that. I have the purpose of break-even trades, how to stop revenge trading, and then how to avoid falling for the like trap of prop firms and the rules that they set.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add in terms of things you want me to talk about in the notes?
This. Yeah. I guess also just like slowing down with the desire for growth. I mean, once I had like 2 weeks straight of just winning days, $200, two payouts, 2 weeks in a row. I honestly just wanted to. It's so stupid, right? I'm quite impulsive, and I just wanted to like make like 5 grand in one trade,
Yeah.
just be done. And when you want to do that, you are just willing to blow the account. Like I'm worried about that creeping up on me at some point.
Yeah.
Even if I had like 3 months of solid growth, I'm worried about like, all right,
Never enough.
all right, yeah, let's push now and like finding balance. I guess finding balance in because right now I don't think I need to scale,
Yeah.
but finding balance in when I do want to or when I do need to, you know, just finding balance, really, not pushing
Yeah.
too hard. Like, because yeah, there's no desperation. I don't need any of this money.
Yeah. So I actually really think you'd like the book that I read, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, because he kind of goes over those ideas, the idea of enough, and how, like, the hedge fund manager that makes $700 million a year is always